Mm-hmm. Hello. Hello. Mm. Yeah. I don't really know what to play. Gotta play some Great Leagues.
Arc?
Not sure. Uh, uh,
We shouldn't linger here. Let's finish this quickly.
I wish I can just have to chat if something happens, you know. No, I guess not. Mm,
Gotcha.
yeah, sure, I'll play some card game. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Oh shit. Definitely not that. Okay. 2-unit line. 4-unit line.
Hi, it's Cat.
Yo, microphone's off.
Is so back. Well, at least the server slam is. Which is the final public test before full release in just 2 weeks.
Jeez, my phone's like computer. Maybe I should load the ratio. Jeez, the hell, what the hell happened here? Oh well. I'm a forced attack. Oh, Jesus. Not intended. Yikes.
I cannot wait. I'm gonna be grinding so hard, even more so than the previous tech test, and it's hard to get much more degenerate than that. Speaking of which, I wanted to share my experience of trying to kill the queen for the first time. She's big, she's bad, and oh load is she tanky. Not only that, but I was kind of in my bag the whole day. You'll see it wasn't just robots I was fragging, and you won't believe how my last raid ended. It was a bizarre set of circumstances. But first, we're gonna need some serious equipment if we want to try to take down the queen. And nothing hits quite the same as a night raid, or just an Arc Raiders raid in general, honestly. Man, I'm so excited.
so much fucking slower.
Play is going up right now. There's another guy close behind. How far behind you? Can I shoot?
Oh yeah, you can shoot.
I think we cracked.
Jumped off. Cracked. The guy low
Down
ground
this
playing.
guy?
Right
Yeah,
here.
right
Low
here.
ground.
I can't see through the
I'm
stupid glass.
crossing right a little bit. On the wall, right above you, Benny. Cracked.
I'm gonna climb up. Fuck it.
Let me as well.
One's dropping down, one dropped down.
Hit that guy.
Fine, get sharp behind.
Oh, this guy's in the game. I didn't know that.
Right here, on the wall. I'm dead.
I cracked. Down.
Nice, good shit.
I'm gonna crack back.
This other guy.
I'm getting gassed.
First,
I don't know.
you bet him in res.
I'm running around to you guys.
I think I was only one down, one crack.
I don't know if they were trying to
Did
push
you down
me.
the guy that you were shooting at?
I killed the first guy in the trend.
There's two down, for sure.
I don't know where I got gassed.
Is there a guy? Yeah, he's on here.
I see it. Hit him.
The
Down.
Above.
Yeah, that's a Tempest.
That's a new team, all the way high, all the way. Full new team. It's like the same spot we had that week.
Yeah, bro. Same shields.
I mean, I don't know if we
Oh,
ended
yo,
this.
close me.
Right on this rock, next to me. Oh, hold on.
Shotty done?
Oh, there's another guy far.
I'm getting right at.
Oh, right on, yeah. It's close behind this wall. I'm healing you. The high ground.
Right, climb wall.
Right here, pushing me. I like
Did
I just
not
full
know
life.
there was a sniper with a
Yeah,
scope.
it's full team. God.
That's cool.
One down.
I'm having to push. You got a full team behind you. So much fun. I'm gonna try and crawl out towards
Two down.
your game.
One left.
You see third?
Yeah, he's here.
I got him.
All dead.
Fuck, try. No, you just fragged out those people every
It's
time.
like
So that's
Shredder meme.
that
It's
team on
Shredder Nitro one.
the team on top. Are they coming down? Did you see where they're at?
They never shot at me. I was standing on the wall. They never shot at me. So I don't know what they did.
Alright, bro. Everyone shooting at me.
This guy was down over here.
I got a zip. Sounds like
Oh
someone's for
shit!
right.
So
On metal.
Oh,
yeah.
that's all good, Benny. You
You
guys
weak.
get in there.
I got buffed.
There,
This
right?
is
Yeah.
good. This is good.
Yeah, aggro here. Team. Right where you just died, Benny.
Crack behind this
rock.
rock. He's in the bush. Right here. Hit. Almost cracked. I think. 20 HP.
He's so close to being down.
On top.
On the wall.
I have to heal again. One's down.
No, I'm down. I literally flew into him.
I'm gonna push this thing.
I'm gonna push this
Fuck
thing.
up this guy. Yeah, I'm fucking bad. That is so lame.
Bro, dude, my death roll was actually the farthest shit I've ever seen.
I'm grabbing your stuff though. Take how much I can get. I got the gold on the box. This is Tempest. Getting shot. I'm dead. I'm over encumbered one side. I'm gonna try and. I'm full boxing.
Nice box. You almost had a max.
I think I'm gonna die.
I just rushed again for
Yeah, I'm so right now. They're looking for me. What lift could I do? Swamp side by myself. Well, time to get comfy.
Alright, yeah, you're sitting in a bush. Let's go.
And I can still hear him. I'll try. I mean, I don't know how many solo. I swear to God, if I decide to actually get out of the bush and do this, I'm gonna crash out. I'm ready to take someone to work. Yeah, so over here you're gonna see 8 dead bodies. Most of them are my friend. All the loot's gone. It's pretty bad. Hey guys. Hey, I'm new around here.
You can try diplomacy, but they don't seem very good.
There's no way I'm getting out of this. They fighting a rocketeer? Well, one got knocked. What the fudge is going on right now? I can't tell if it's two teams. I knocked one. Is this Tempest full auto or what?
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I'm saying somebody else. I've only knocked one. I'm trying to find everyone else. Yeah. I mean, over under on I take this elevator.
I mean, you're chilling, dude. Unless if there's knocks, try and call it, and then like run away and hide.
There were knocks. I'm not sure. They go there, right? Yeah, it's open. Pause. Hold.
Is he
Hold.
close?
Yeah, we're out, baby. Let's go.
Let's fucking go. Sick.
Let's go. Easy.
Hell yeah, dude.
Thanks for the elevator, nerds. Yeah, just holy stuff. I got out just to give crap this year.
Now that's hot. You know what they call me? They call me Ghost Finger. You know why they call me that?
Alright.
If I told you, I'd have to kill you anyway. So.
Okay, good. I like living. So I heard we're killing Queen, huh?
Queen must die tonight.
Okay, bet. And I heard Benny over here's got legendary. Yeah.
I think we're about to have legendaries. Do you have any power rods for you?
I have 5. I
They needed my power rods because Benny had the rest of the components to be able to craft a legendary rifle called Jupiter. I'd never had a legendary before, so I was understandably excited, and with all three of us geared like this, the team wouldn't stand a chance.
Yeah, I mean, the storm's kind of fucking scary too. This is the lobby. Spooky. Wait, this room seems fucking insane. I think this is where I saw those. I saw a clip of people taking it from like around it. I think it might have been this.
I think there's people fighting over here.
Yeah, they're really not too far.
They're fighting a rocket
I'm gonna
too.
zip line out and just see if this roof looks chill. But the zip line really close to the bottom.
Can we put barricades facing to the west so that we have some shit to cover behind us?
Yeah, I'm also gonna put a barricade at the bottom of the stair so like some of the walls and what's like that. Yeah, I like that.
That's what I was saying. There's that one, but if we're all over here, that's a pretty
Alright, should we start cranking?
This does seem chill to me. Yeah, when she does the beam attack,
the queen's getting shot at.
yeah,
Why
she
is it coming from the sky?
People are trying to fight up from there. There might be a bunker. A lot of people have been taking it from like spawns because they can't go third party, so it's like be better
Oh,
outside
they're not
spawn.
here.
Let's.
I can't stay here for long. I'll just cause trouble.
Chinese arrows.
Has your wound healed a little, Tin Can? Does it hurt?
Really nothing to watch. Jeez, what the hell is that gun? Was it grappler?
I can't
Okay,
stay
that's
here
cool.
for long. I'll just cause trouble for them.
That's cool. That's cool.
Everything is getting better, isn't it? I hope this light never fades.
Mm.
I can't stay here for long. I'll just cause trouble for them.
Oh shit. I don't want to watch a YouTube video that came out now. June, I can find. Yeah.
Do we really need another extraction shooter? Haven't we had enough? Isn't this genre getting a little too oversaturated? Well, no. And in my opinion, they haven't even come close to peaking. Let me explain. Almost every genre of games has more than one quote-unquote big game in them. There were a million battle royales that came out in the wake of PUBG until it mostly settled on the big four. And each of these games is largely similar to each other at a 10,000th view. They are all essentially just last man standing wins. But they are different enough to appeal to different gamers within the genre and can provide a vastly different experience to gamers that enjoy battle royales. And this has happened across most genres. Your more classic first-person shooters always had Call of Duty and Battlefield and Medal of Honor and Halo, and even hack shooters have Counter-Strike and Valorant. Before we get to the meat and potatoes of this video, we gotta talk about something. The oversaturated genre argument has always kind of baffled. Should a good game not get made just because other games in that genre exist? Almost surely, if you wanted the devs to make something other than extraction shooters, wouldn't they be working on games in other saturated genres? Like, we undoubtedly have 100 times more RPGs than extraction shooters, and yet some of the best RPGs ever are still coming out. In the last 3 years alone, all of these games have been released. There are awesome devs making awesome games in every single genre, and there are also greedy devs pushing out slot games in every single genre. I feel like nowadays we kind of treat genres as like lifeboats with limited amounts of space. If a new battle royale comes out, we almost act like it has to kick one of the other battle royales out of the boat to make room for it. Now, that might be worth a video of its own, but the point is, it seems like whenever a new genre pops onto the scene, there is always an arms race for developers to create a game that will hopefully be one of those tentpole games in the genre. And that requires threading the needle between striking while the iron is hot by getting a game out as soon as possible, and taking their time to understand what really makes that new genre so fun and special, and then create something that's truly unique. And extraction shooters haven't really had that genre maturity yet. It feels like a lot of the games so far have been indies, strike while the iron is hot. Some games like the Cycle of Fear and Marauders try to radically shake up the genre with sci-fi aesthetics and brand new mechanics. Ultimately, those games fail to really capture the essence of an extraction shooter and hold on to an audience long term. We've also had large existing IPs try to dip their toe into the market with games like Call of Duty DMZ and Battlefield's Hazard Zone. But it was pretty clear that these were just them trying to get in on what they thought maybe was a cash cow, and they never really took the time to really understand the genre or try to respect it. And then we've had a couple of games try to closely mimic the formula that we know works. Delta Force and Arena Breakout Infinite are probably the two most successful extraction shooters that we have so far that have Tarkov. They are games set in the modern day with modern weapons and feel much more in line with and to be honest, we really enjoyed both of these games. When Delta Force first came out, I put almost 300 hours into that, and I recently hopped back into Arena Breakout Infinite, and it really blew me away how much fun I've been having. The unfortunate problem with these games, however, is, well, here are screenshots from the four most recent extraction shooters I've played. They all kind of look and feel the same. And the way games look, definitely not everything. But it is no wonder why all these games are constantly compared to Tarkov. And I'm of two minds on this. On one hand, I hate these comparison games because sometimes taking something and then tweaking it a little bit can create something really fun. Just because Tarkov exists doesn't mean it's perfect. And a lot of people have been introduced to the genre through games like Delta Force and Arena Breakout Infinite. And on the other hand, though, I kind of get it. Because it is pretty clear that these games use Tarkov as their starting point instead of using the core themes of the genre as their starting point. Arena Breakout Infinite feels like free-to-play Tarkov because that's kind of exactly what they're trying to do. Think of it this way. If every battle royale that came out after Fortnite thought that the only reason people liked BRs was because the builders, well, that would be a gross misunderstanding of why BRs are so fun, and it would feel bad to have every battle royale have that mechanic forced into it. And that's kind of how it feels right now with extraction shooters. It seems like everyone thinks that in order for an extraction shooter to work, they need to be like Tarkov. We haven't really had a game come along that truly understands what's at the core of the extraction shooter genre, and has taken the time to dissect exactly what makes the genre so fun, so addictive, and then make something completely new that is perfectly built to deliver on those goals. Until now. Raiders quickly became my most anticipated game of 2025 with just a few days of playing it during the tech festival. And the crazy thing is I wasn't even excited for this game when it dropped. After being burned by so many extraction shooters over the past few years, I, like many Tarkov Stockholm Syndrome survivors, looked at it and saw a game with weird guns and robot enemies and just kind of thought, and I absolutely hated the thought of a PvP extraction shooter in third person. And still, in just 4 days, our creators completely turned me around. Now thinking, this might be the most intentional, unique, and fun extraction shooter we have had yet. Embark have spent years in the kitchen cooking up this masterpiece, and you can tell. This is the first time I feel like the devs peeled one more layer of the onion back. Instead of just seeing that Tarkov is successful and deciding to do what Tarkov does, they decided to dive into why extraction shooters are fun, and then use those principles to create a brand new experience. And in this video, I'm going to try to explain how. This game just looks so good.
Agree.
Like, look at this, dude. The reason I
Avoid
wanted to make
shield
this
for
video
real.
is because a really consistent theme I've seen from people who have not had the chance to play Arc Raiders yet is I don't get why people are so hyped for this game. And I totally understand that. What's interesting though is that on the flip side, one of the most common things that people who have played is, oh my god, this game is amazing, it's so much better than I thought it would. There's just something about this game that's different. Something that you feel almost immediately when you play, and I think I figured it out. If there is one thing that I want to say about Arc Raiders, it's that everything is intentional. They knew the feeling that they wanted to have while playing this game, and they made every single aspect of the game around supporting that. That care, that vision, that intentionality is why this game feels different. Also, and I can't stress enough how important this is, the game is fun. I genuinely felt like I hit again. I haven't had this much fun playing the game since the Halo LAN parties at my friend's house when we were kids. The amount of times in just 4 days I yelled, oh my god, no way you can actually do that, reminded me of why I love gaming so much. But I do want to dive into why I think this game is so fun, and what elements specifically of the game best display how intentionally it was designed. First and foremost, Arc Raiders feels extremely fresh. In my opinion, this game rides a perfect line between familiar to what we expect from extraction shooters, but different enough to be classified as its own thing. It's sci-fi, but we're not flying around in spaceships and aliens. The game is set on Earth with environments that feel familiar. The maps are gorgeous and would reach out to being both immersive and highly playable. Arc Raiders is definitely not a Milsim game, but it doesn't necessarily feel wholly unrealistic either. The guns and gear all feel like decades of people scrapping things together with the tools they have. The movement feels weighty and grounded. I mean, these animations for going into a full sprint or how people ragdoll when they die, they feel so satisfying and they feel really grounded. And the AI in the game, being robots that take over the world, doesn't really seem too far-fetched. Actually, it even seem a little prophetic.
Oh my god, stop turning.
About this, is how it essentially just throws a bunch of tools at you and says, hey, you figure out how you want to play this game. It's a game with room for multiple playstyles, and it encourages experimentation. For example, one of the utility grenades in the game is called the Show Seed, a grenade that blows up in a ball of electricity. I hadn't really seen a use for it since my main focus was PvP, and I thought it would be pretty situational in that context. Until we were fighting one of these mother truckers right here. If you haven't played Arc Raiders yet, you don't understand how much one of these little spawns of Satan can ruin your life. A million HP and rockets that deal an insane amount of damage. Once this guy sets his sights on you, you have a problem. So, with a decent understanding of how the movement works in this game, and during a fight with one of these bad boys, while still looking for a use for the showstopper grenade, this happened. Yeah. We got 2 showstoppers.
Oh. Oh. Okay. What the fuck is he stand on it?
Ride 'em, cowboy. Wait, who's blasting me right now?
Huh?
Oh, this other bot. I was like, what the frick?
Oh, why are you shooting? Like you have a gunship under your feet. The fuck?
And now is the perfect time to talk about the Arc and Arc Raiders. The AI in this game are maybe the best AI enemies in any PvPvE game ever made. By making the AI robots instead of other humans, it opens up endless possibilities to create the experience that you want and solves a host of problems that other games face. In many other extraction shooters, all of the PvE enemies that you fight are other humans, and it's really hard to create dynamic range and experiences you have with the AI when they are humans, who will always be compared to real humans. It's also really important to note here that PvE enemies have more than one purpose in these types of games. Sometimes they are there to drain resources or give your position away to another player. Sometimes they are supposed to be hard and an actual threat, or maybe they're supposed to be tanky and create extended gunfights that draw in PvP. And sometimes they're supposed to be raid-defining events that provide some of the best loot and most unique experiences. This is all extremely hard to do with human AI. If the AI feels too basic, people will complain that the humans seem stupid. If they're too tanky, it feels super weird to shoot a guy in the head 10 times without him dying. When the AI are supposed to be a threat to the player, it can be frustrating, because they might have the reaction time or accuracy that no real human would ever have. And on top of all that, as the player, it can be sometimes hard to tell what experience any given AI is supposed to be providing, because they all look similar.
Nothing can escape.
Arc Raiders
He's gonna die.
by making an AI in the game robots. Each and every one of the arcs was purpose-built to create a very specific experience, and since they are all distinct sizes and shapes, the player intuitively learns them as they play the game. Snitches are there to alert other arc of your presence. Hornets and wasps are there to poke and pester you and often require you to give away your position to destroy them. Ticks and robots are there to provide PvE encounters indoors. Rocketeers, Bison, and Bastions are basically boss fights that take a lot of time or specialized equipment to deal with, and the Queen is essentially a raid boss that might take a group of people an entire raid to defeat. And they are just made so goddamn well. They interact with the world around them exactly how you think they should. And this actually brings up a really interesting point in the conversation around realism. Let me ask you something. What is more realistic? Seeing a quadcopter drone struggling to maintain flight after one of its motors was shot out because it is still entirely focused on completing its mission of killing you, or seeing a human enemy run directly into a wall for 20 minutes because his path got bugged. One is something one is acting in a very unrealistic way, and one is something that might not actually be real, but it's acting exactly how you think it would if it were real. And watching a drone struggle to fly after losing a motor, or watching a Bastion shift its weight around after you shoot out one of its legs, these things feel so real, and it's just pure cinema. The team that worked on the arc in this game already deserve a raise, and it's one of the many examples of how this game understands what it wants to accomplish and executes on it perfectly. And while I do think that this might be the most industry-leading PvE I've ever seen, we now gotta talk about the other type of enemy that you would fight, other players. PvP is an essential part of extraction shooters. The ever-present threat that another real person can come along and end your raid and steal your loot is what makes these games so tense. And the thought of you running into another player, killing them, and taking their loot is what makes these games so addictive. But because PvP is such a core part of the experience, it has to be handled well. Because while it is part of what defines the genre, it can also be what kills a game when handled poorly. And there are a lot of disparate game mechanics that all come together to determine if the PvP in your game is fun or annoying. The gunplay in Arc Raiders feels amazing so far, although it did take a little bit to get used to coming from games like Tarkov. And that is because it benefits from sidestepping some of the hardcore realism of it in the same way that the AI does. Instead of lasers, flashlights, 60-round mags, and 12 different ammo types for each gun, they chose to define the combat and gunplay down to a simpler form. The guns look like they've been cobbled together in a garage, and that actually serves a purpose. Lower magazine capacities and the lack of long-range optics means that they can more precisely control how fights go down. And there still is complexity there to the gunplay though. Each gun has its own weapon mods that can be attached or detached and loaded
Honestly,
into
couldn't
raids, and each
it?
weapon can actually be upgraded several times using materials found in raids to
Fucking
upgrade their
2x4
base
ones.
stats. They have struck a really cool balance here. The combat rewards good positioning, good shot placement, and using map knowledge to your advantage to close the distance on your enemy. It also promotes creative thinking with all the utility that the game provides, like smokes and zip lines. It respects the player's time by drastically reducing the ability to just get one shot, but also respects the pace of a good fight by not allowing anybody to be a walking tank. Speaking Speaking of respecting the player's time, the game's spawn system is another element to the PvP that not many people talk about. Spending the time to gear up, figure out what quests you want to do, load into a raid, and then just get bodied by a guy that spawns right behind you is an awful feeling. Arc Raiders actually has a pretty unique system, where instead of spawning everybody at the start of the raid, there are basically two waves of spawns. This allows them to control a lot. They can reduce the immediate spawn fight because they don't have to spawn everybody so close, and it allows them to keep the raid relatively populated throughout. Many other extraction shooters struggle with everybody fighting right off spawn, and then the raid can feel dead just 5 minutes in, because so many of the players are either already dead from the spawn fight, or are leaving the raid with all the loot from those fights. In my experience with Arc Raiders, it feels pretty good. Not overcrowded, not now, there are definitely some instances where this system might cause some problems. If you are trying to loot a specific POI or use a specific key, if you get into the raid in that second wave of spawn, you might not get that opportunity. But in the tech test, I never really noticed any of those issues. I never even really noticed when I got in that second wave of spawn. I personally am glad they are trying to tackle the problem and hope that they can optimize it to minimize the issues. Now, once you do get into combat with somebody, Arc Raiders uses a traditional health plus shield system. But once again, the whole combat system seems to be balanced in that sweet spot of a fight lasting long enough to breathe and create cool moments, but not so long that you feel like you can't kill someone. The higher tier shield absolutely provides some additional health for you, but not so much that you can get flopped. In many other games in the past, if you saw someone with purple or gold shields, you just knew that there was no way you could win unless you also had that gear, and it did not feel like that in Arc Raiders during the tech test. Also, there are no colored hit markers either that tell you what tier of shield someone is wearing, and this game definitely doesn't need them. A good extraction shooter is about riding the razor's edge of good gear mattering enough that you want to bring it into raid, but not so much that you can rely on it to be unkillable. This almost always comes with a huge trade-off, however. Slightly longer time to kill feels great until you are a solo player who constantly runs up against squads. But if you are someone that enjoys gaming solo, boy do I have some good news for you.
Nothing can escape.
Solo play is an extremely important and oftentimes overlooked aspect of games. Not everybody always has somebody to play with every single time they sit in the game, and people are tired of being forced into parties of 3 in order to experience games. Or you can turn squad fill off. It is not an acceptable response to the solo player community. Games like Escape from Tarkov, while not entirely solo friendly, avoid some of this problem because of how quick the time to kill can be. You can eliminate a squad of players with 4 bullets if you play your cards right. But that kind of just kicks the problem down the road, because that strength can also become a weakness. It means that if you're a solo and you're in a fight with a squad, that fast TTK can be used against you. And it also kind of promotes a gameplay style of really just sitting and waiting until somebody crosses your path, because largely whoever gets the first shots off wins. Other games have gone the entire opposite direction with full-on solo queues. But that inevitably fragments the player base a little bit and removes some of the tension that extraction shooters are known for. Part of the fun is never knowing if the guy that you just got has friends coming to avenge him, or if he's a solo. Arc Raiders has a really unique approach to this problem. Their matchmaking algorithm will try to prioritize putting solos in games together. Now, this is not a separate solo queue. It's one playlist that everybody queues into. While it is matching, it will try to take a large group of the solos that are queuing at any given time and put them together. This, at least during the tech test, seems to be a really elegant solution to this problem. It's not a complete guarantee that the raider you hear is for sure solo, so you have to be on guard and you have to play carefully. But it dramatically reduces the frequency of you getting completely slammed by squads raid after raid after raid. And if you do end up being a duo or a trio in a game that is mostly solos, you would never know it. You didn't queue into any other playlist, and you would probably go about your whole raid assuming that any raider you heard had teammates with them. It's another way for them to control and preserve the experience that they want the players to have without fragmenting the player base or without any one group of players feeling left behind by the game. And my favorite part of this whole thing is that the game gives you the tools to work together. Arc Raiders has proximity chat, which allows you to talk to other people and potentially team up. But in addition to that, there's an item in the game called the defibrillator, which allows you to not only quick revive your downed teammates, but it also allows you to revive downed enemies. This creates some
This
really
creates
awesome
some
moments
really
where
awesome
maybe
moments
one player
where
kills
maybe
another,
one player
and then
kills
you can
another,
kind of have
and
this
then you
break
can kinda
where
have
this
that
player
break
is
where
down
that
and you
player
can talk
is
to each
down
other and maybe decide to work together.
Maybe decide to work
It
together.
has already created
has
some
already created
insanely
some
memorable moments,
insanely
and I think it's
memorable
one of the most
moments, and I
genius
think it's
things
one of the
they've
most
added to
genius
this game.
things they've added to
Yes,
this game.
you might get betrayed
Yes,
and
you
people
might
might
get
try to
betrayed
shit talk
and
you
people
once
might
they
try to
down
shit
you,
talk you once
but
they
the
down you.
opportunities
But the
for insanely hype
opportunities
moments
for insanely
are
hype
more
moments
than worth
are
it.
more than
Where's your
Where's your friends?
All right, crawl in the extract.
Crawl in the
Crawl in the extract.
Crawl in the extract.
Go see your chicken,
Go see
sir.
your chicken, sir.
He beckons you.
He beckons you.
Get in there.
Oh, he's got the full ball set as well.
All right, be on ye merry way. Never forget.
That's hilarious.
Now, with all this talk of
With all this
PvP
talk
and
of
gunplay,
PvP
we
and gunplay,
finally have to
we
address
finally
the
have to
elephant in the
address
room,
the elephant in
the
the room,
third-person perspective.
Third-person perspective.
This is far and away the
This is
single
far and
most
away
common
the single
concern I
most
hear
common
about
concern
our
I
players.
hear about
People
our
have really
really
strong opinions
really
about
strong
third-person
opinions
PvP
about
games,
third-person
and to be
PvP
honest,
games,
I
and
can't
to be
really
honest,
judge them
I
because
can't
I was
judge
right
them
there too.
because I was right
And then
there too.
4 days with
And then
this game
4 days with
completely
this game
changed my perspective.
completely changed my perspective.
Ultimately, this is going to be a
Ultimately,
subjective
this is
thing.
going to be a
Some
subjective
people, no
thing.
matter how
Some
good a
people,
game
no matter
is,
how
are
good a
just going
game
to
is,
prefer
are just
games
going
set
to
in the
prefer
first person,
games set in
and
the
that is
first person,
completely
and that is
respectable.
completely
However, the reason I
However,
waited
the
until this
reason I
point in the
waited
video to
until
talk
this
about
point in
this
the video to
is
talk
hopefully
about
by
this
now that you
is
can see
hopefully
that
by now
Embark
that you
have
can see that
crafted this
Embark
game with an
crafted
almost
this game with an
unprecedented amount
almost
of care and
unprecedented amount of
intentionality.
care and
They didn't just
intentionality.
wake up and
They
think,
didn't just
let's
wake
try
up
this
and
game in
think,
third
let's
person
try
and
this
see if
game
it
in third
works.
person and see
It
if
was
it works.
crafted for
It was
third person.
crafted for
And you may
third
not
person.
realize on the
And you may
surface
not
how many
realize on the
different
surface
decisions
how many
and
different
game mechanics
decisions,
exist
game
to
mechanics
reduce
exist
or
to
completely
reduce
remove
or
some
completely
of your
remove
main
some
concerns
of your
with
main
third-person
concerns
PvP
with
games.
third-person PvP
Fuck
games.
is
First,
that?
it sets this
First,
game
it
apart.
sets this
Remember
game
those
apart.
screenshots we
Remember
showed at the
those
beginning of the
screenshots we
video?
showed at the beginning
Dark
of the video?
Raiders looks and
Dark
feels
Raiders
completely
looks and
different.
feels
And I
completely different.
promise you,
And
that
I
even
promise
with
you
robot
that even
enemies
with
and a
robot
post-apocalyptic
enemies and a
setting, if this
post-apocalyptic
game was set
setting,
in first
if this game
person,
was set in
so
first
many
person,
people would
so
have just
many
written it off
people would
as
have just written
Tarkov
it off
with
as
robot enemies.
Tarkov with robot
Third person
enemies.
is a huge
Third
part of
person
what
is a
immerses
huge
you in
part
this
of what
world,
immerses
and a
you in
big
this
part of
world,
what sets
and a
this
big
game
part of
apart.
what sets this
But it
game
isn't
apart.
just about
But
vibes.
it isn't just about
I know
vibes.
that the main
I know
concern with
that the
third
main
person in
concern with
PvP
third
games
person in
is that
PvP
people
games
just stand
is that
still,
people
corner
just stand
peeking,
still,
waiting for
corner
somebody to
peeking,
walk
waiting
by,
for
and then
somebody
you
to
just
walk
kind of
by,
gank
and then
them
you
without
just
that
kind of
poor
gank
soul
them
ever
without
really
that
having a
soul
chance to
ever
fight
really
back.
having a chance to
And that
fight
is
back.
true to a degree.
That is true
Many
to a
third-person
degree.
games
Many
have developed
third-person
into
games
that,
have
but
developed
I
into
have
that.
two counterpoints.
But I have two counterpoints.
One, this
One,
exact same
this
thing
exact
happens
same
in first-person
thing
games
happens in
too.
first-person
I don't know
games
if you
too.
played Escape from
I don't know
Tarkov
if you played
recently,
Escape
but
from Tarkov
one of,
recently, but
if not
one
the
of,
most prevalent
if not the
strategies
most
in the
prevalent
game
strategies
is
in the
Reddit.
game is
People have
Reddit.
devoted their
People have
entire
devoted their
lives to
entire
finding
lives
spots to
to
hide
finding
and do
spots
this
to
exact
hide
same
and
thing.
do this
They
exact
find a
same thing.
spot where they can
They
see
find a
you,
spot where
you
they
can't
can
see
see
them,
you,
and they
you
sit
can't see
and
them,
hide
and
and
they
wait
sit
for
and
somebody to
hide
walk in
and wait
front
for
of them,
somebody to walk
and
in
they
front
gank
of
you
them,
without you
and
ever
they
having
gank
a
you
chance
without
to
you
fight
ever
back.
having a chance to fight.
You ever having a chance
You ever having a
them,
chance
and they sit and
them,
hide
and
and
they
wait
sit
for
and
somebody to
hide
walk in
and wait
front of
for
them,
somebody to
and
walk
they
in front
gank
of
you
them,
without you
and
ever
they
having
gank
a
you
chance
without
to
you
fight
ever
back.
having a chance to
A little goddamn gremlin, brother. And my second and more important counterpoint is that almost every single game mechanic that we've talked about so far has kept this third-person problem in mind. The fact that many of the arcs are drones means that since they are so high up in the sky, they can and will spot players that are hiding around corners and start to attack them, which lets you know of their position and it forces them to move. The time to kill is balanced in a way that even if somebody does get the drop on you, you almost always have the ability to fight back. There are also so many utility items in the game that can help you flush out players, draw AIs towards enemy players, or provide ways for you to move and traverse the map to avoid these players. You do have to play third-person games differently for sure. You can't just hold corners and stand out in hallways, and that is something to remember. It's just part of the skill ceiling of this type of game. And it's also important to remember that you also have that same ability to third-person peek corners as well. Similar to how the meta in a lot of first-person shooter games is just jiggle peeking corners for information, formation, you just have to apply that same skill to third-person peeking corners to make sure that nobody is there. It's pretty much the same thing. But like I said, I totally understand that this is subjective, and I'm not trying to convince you that you need to love this game because it's in third person, but I do think that a lot of people have had bad experiences with other third-person games and might not realize how fully fleshed out the experience in Outriders is. If you are on the fence about this game strictly because of third person, I highly encourage you to try the game out if you ever get the opportunity.
Looking at me.
Got him.
Let's go. Damn, bro.
I hope by now
I
you're
have
seeing
a
it
feeling
right.
like cups
And I'm gonna
tea
say it
kinda
again.
be
The best part about this game is just the fact that everything feels so intentional. They know the game they want to make, and they know the feeling they want the players to have, and they make sure that everything supports that. And all this is just the tip of the iceberg. I could literally talk about this stuff for hours, but I need the mighty YouTube algorithm to love me, so we are going to go lightning round for the rest of it. The sound design in this game is so goated. Every sound, from prying open an airdrop, to hearing a flare pop in the distance when you're down an enemy, to the panic-inducing sound of a Bastion aggroing you, are all equally unique, immersive, and just phenomenal. And it's not just all set dressing. So many games nowadays have great sound design, but it ends up just being audio vomit. There's 14 different audio sources all playing at the same time, and you can't hear what you want to hear. Arc Raiders hit the nail on the head. The sound in the game is good enough to be noticed, but it doesn't get in your way. It can be a genuine skill check to hear something in the distance and know how to interpret it and react accordingly.
The sound is very crazy.
As with all extraction shooters, an important part of the experience is, well, extracting. And Arc Raiders put their own flair on this too. The main extraction points are these bunker entrances that require you to hit a terminal, wait a few seconds for it to open, then hit another terminal, and wait for it to close. Now this creates a very distinct audio cue and often visual cue as well, so you gotta stay frosty once you get to the extract. But what's cool about these is that when those gates close, whoever is in there is extracted. And I mean anyone. So if you play your cards right, you can sneak in or talk your way into extracting with another squad. You can even extract if you are in the down state as long as you are inside. And some crazy important tech is you can actually hit the terminal inside to initiate the extract when you are down. Crawling into an extract, hitting the terminal, and leaving before the guy that downed you can close the distance is an insanely butt-punching moment, but a moment you will not soon forget. I've also mentioned utility in this video a couple of times, and man, this might be the only game I have ever wanted to have one of every single type of grenade or consumable on me at all times. There are so many different types of grenades that can do damage, lure the arc away, or completely stop the arc in your tracks.
blade,
Grapple hooks can
high
grapple
explosive
completely insane
grenade.
traversal strats,
So
there's mines, deployable cover, and even a wand you can hold over your head to become invisible to the arc. There is so much to it, and it all promotes experimentation and creates fights that are dynamic and unexpected.
I'm so sorry. This is just, I just need to. I know normally I would, but just right now,
Jesse, the problem is that I need to get up there because
Naturally, one of the most addicting parts of an extraction shooter is looting. We play these games because we're little loot gremlins that want to find things to sell. And there's a lot to loot here. I was actually surprised at how useful just about everything is. So many of the materials are needed for upgrades or crafts, and materials can actually be upcycled into more rare materials, meaning that there's almost always a reason to pick up just about everything. Which can be a little overwhelming, but I think that is good. Games where 50% of the items are only needed in the first 5 hours of the game get really stale really quickly. You are always having to make game time decisions about what you should take and what you should drop. I think that feels really good. Also, if you're on console, you are in luck. This is far and away the most optimized looting UI for console players. I think PC gamers coming from games like Tarkov might think it's a little oversimplified, but in my opinion, it checks all the boxes. It's intuitive, it allows you to take a lot of loot out of the raid, and it is designed so that the maximum amount of players can enjoy it. That's a W for me. And on the point of looting, there's also a pretty detailed crafting system in the game that allows you to craft just about everything that you need for your raids. And since there is no player market, you are constantly needing resources to craft those things, which continues to push you into raids to farm more resources. There's even a crafting menu in raid. It does take a little bit extra resources, but if you forget to bring meds or maybe you run out during a fight, you are not just entirely out of luck. There's a hideout in your stash where you do all this crafting, and it is separated into a few modules that can all be upgraded. And you even have your own chicken, Scrappy, who will farm up resources for you while you are out on your raids. Scrappy's the go. Also, you know what else is extremely refreshing about Arc Traders? It is not mother-flipping early access. This is a finished game. That is so unheard of these days that during the summer, the community was begging them to release an unfinished version of the game just so that we can get our hands on it. They're like the absolute cads that they
There's nothing much to worry. Or whether it's like hell ease. Okay. Anyone with that is a free spot, I feel. These are some ass blizzard. Ass blizzard.
Well, Singapore was mentioned, so I gotta talk about it. Could my homeland of Singapore be added as a sub-tree to War Thunder? Or could any of the vehicles and aircraft we operate be a fit for any of the existing nations' tech trees? And to give you all a bit of background, this has recently come into the spotlight with War Thunder as the recent controversy regarding the BT-4 MBT and the Chinese community's outrage response from Gaijin that curiously mentioned Singapore being added to the Chinese tech tree potentially in the future. Now, right off the bat, I'm against that. And it seems like the War Thunder community agrees. A forum poll that was run showed Japan and Israel as the top contenders for Singapore to come in as a sub-tree. However, Gaijin has now released a community post stating that they are now considering adding Singapore's vehicles into multiple tech trees instead. So it looks like there might not be an national sub-tree after all. But vehicles will still be added to several nations, with Israel being mentioned as one possible contender. Of course, all this is still in development, and things can always change as time goes on. But
Oh my god, mouse.
Let's dive straight in with the vehicles and see how they might individually play. This list will be in a somewhat chronological order, but it won't be exhaustive by any means. We begin with Singapore's first tank, the AMX-13. We're all familiar with this light tank as it shows up in both French and Israeli tech trees already. What's unique about this is the SM-1 upgrade. That includes a laser rangefinder and stabilization as well as modernized ammunition. In War Thunder, this would result in an already potent and fast-firing light tank being able to fire and move a lot more effectively, and with greater firepower with Sabo shells available. In addition, it'd be even more mobile with an upgraded engine, transmission, and suspension from the SM-1 package. But inevitably, all this would result in a tank being higher up in VR, and I'm not sure that would allow it to remain competitive, especially given that it still has the same armor as the standard AMX-13. So it'd be unique, but ultimately questionably effective in game. Next up is the V200 Commando, a light-wheeled armored vehicle developed specifically at Singapore's request. The variants that might have a place in War Thunder would be one armed with the 20mm Oerlikon cannon and a 90mm gun. The 20mm would play a lot like the Fiat armored car in the Italian tech tree, while the 90mm might be more similar to something like the Eland or AML-90. They'd be fast and suited well to the loved or hated playstyle of the Rat. But it's worth remembering they were also retrofitted for anti-aircraft use, with the turrets replaced with RBS-70 surface-to-air, meaning it could be suitable for a mid-tier mobile SAM. And now we can't talk about armor in virtually any...
Honestly, I feel like I made a mistake. I should probably just go for Russia. That would be a smarter play.
Any nation on Earth without inevitably mentioning the M113. These things were everywhere, and for good reason. It's a little bit of armor, mobility, and a whole lot of versatility. Well, you might be thinking, well, these are already in War Thunder, and you'd be right. But Singapore has some unique ones too. Meet the M113 Ultra, a local upgrade of the venerable box with one of two turret options. We have the 4050, a 40mm grenade launcher paired with a 50 caliber machine gun. And if the 40mm grenades on the AH-1 Cobra are anything to go by, they actually could be quite useful in the right VR. The downside, of course, being the exposed gunner. And if an exposed gunner worries you too, the OWS might be your thing instead. A 20mm autocannon mounted on a frankly bizarre-looking turret. 25mm isn't potent at 8.0 and above, where this would likely fit into, but it's unmanned and quite tall, so you'd be basically the M113 equivalent of a giraffe. And then there's this, the Ultra Igla. So named because it's carrying Russian-made Igla surface-to-air missiles. I'm not entirely sure. But yet another mid-tier infrared SAM to shoot down helicopters. And if M113s aren't your flavor, we also have the AMX-10. Both in the 25mm and Pak-90 variants. The AMX-10P with the autocannon is already in the French tech tree. But the Pak-90 with its 90mm turret and gun would be something a little bit different. It shares DNA with the Panhard ERC-90, which also isn't in the game but just with a bigger body. And somehow that feels like it's not a positive in this case.
Should I? Actually, that's
And if
quite worth it.
IFVs are your thing, we've had a few. The Bionics is an entirely homegrown IFV, armed with a 25mm cannon. They also had 40-50 variants, just like the M113. For War Thunder, however, both the Bionics and the later Bionics 2 with the 30mm would basically perform something like a Bradley without the tow missiles. And I'm unsure if that would be fun. The newest thing, though, is the Hunter AFV. A modern IFV with an unmanned turret, and I could see this thing being quite useful in the game for that reason alone. And with the ability to fire spike ATGMs, it could be even more powerful. And let's not forget about our wheeled vehicles completely, because Singapore also operates this. And no, that's not a Striker you're looking at. That's a Terex. That's an eight-wheeled troop carrier with loads of configurations available. The one we're most interested in is the latest Terex S5, equipped with a 30mm Bushmaster cannon on a remote weapon station. This troop carrier also allegedly features a hybrid electric drive with a battery pack. Now, assuming War Thunder actually models this could mean it'd be a wheeled vehicle capable of driving away even with its engine shut out. Not a bad party trick. In the game, it'd otherwise perform similarly to something It's a fast, lightly armored vehicle for recon and with a similar autocannon loadout. There is also a variant of the Terex with a spike ATGM launcher, but since the similar toe-firing variant of the Striker has yet to make an appearance, I'm not so sure we'll be seeing that one. But what about the tanks? At one point, Singapore did also try to develop a Centurion program, rumored to be named the Tempest. The idea was for it to be a modernized MBT based on the Centurion, but nothing has ever been confirmed. And this seems to be the only photo to do with anything.
Wait, what just happened? I don't know.
Relating to that. So your guess is as good as mine. We did eventually get Leopard 2s, however, and of course the Singapore variant of the Leopard 2A4 is identical to the German 2A4 in every way. So nothing new there. But it's of course the 2SG variant that everyone's here to find out about, right? Well, unfortunately, despite having been a commander on both, I can't tell you very much at all. But what I can do is tell you what it would be like if it was added to War Thunder. And it would basically be exactly the same as the Leopard 2. And from the front, you'd be hard-pressed to tell them apart. There are definitely different systems internally, but none of that would really make a difference when it comes to gameplay. They can use the same ammo, and the only noticeable difference is that the 2SG has slat armor mounted on the rear. Appreciably though, nothing would really change in that regard. As far as artillery goes in War Thunder, we do have the Primus. It's a 155mm self-propelled gun that's visually kind of similar to the M109 or the Shelleff, and it would perform largely the same too. But what about in the air? We've previously operated a lot of aircraft that we actually already have in the game. The Hawker Hunter, BAC Strike Master, and the F5. The unique variant here, however, would be the A4SU Super Skyhawk. Now these had a more powerful engine as well as a modern RWR, countermeasures, and the ability to use laser-guided weapons, making this a pretty decent close air support aircraft, and it probably perform just as well in the game. As far as close air support goes, we also have AH-64 Apaches, nothing too different from what's already in the game. However, the Air Force also does have the M346 on master, and while it's used primarily as a training aircraft, it does have some limited strike capabilities, so it's possible it could also be added as a sort of mid-tier
Although
CAS
that's kind
plane.
of stretching
Although that's kind of
the
stretching
definition of what Singapore
the
actually has in
definition
their
of what
inventory
Singapore
in that
actually has in
regard.
their inventory in that
And
regard.
then, of course, there's the
And
F-16.
then, of course, there's the
A
F-16.
plane that's
A
in
plane
almost every
that's
tech
in
tree
almost
as
every
it
tech
is,
tree
and
as
this
it
would
is,
largely be a
and
copy
this would
paste.
largely be a
As
copy
far
paste.
as I'm aware,
As far as I'm aware, it shares all
capabilities.
the same
The real
capabilities.
unique one
The
here
real
would be the
unique
F-
one here would be the F.
There's always been a debate
There's
on
always
what
been
is
a
the
debate
stupidest
on
crime
what
you
is the stupidest crime you.
Alright. So what's the plan for this guy?
how wiping will work in our creators. Essentially, if you care about the lore, you are going to adventure into the unknown. For us metagamers, once you reach level 20, you'll be able to complete a project, and it will have 6 steps, all requiring you to contribute resources that will slowly get more and more harder to obtain. You have 1 week to complete the first finalization step, and then there will be 8 more. After the 8 weeks, you can initiate an account reset, which will skip the tutorial and the onboarding process, and then you will be able to get an account buff. The benefits: permanent unlocks, cosmetics, and account buffs for the entire expedition cycle. Buffs will reach a limit, and they will never want to give the players a power or combat advantage. If this doesn't work, they will look into the globalized normal wipe cycle of other games. Don't worry, you will keep anything you paid for. So
Oh shit, there's 3 troops there. Ah, he is ignoring me. Finally, for God's sake. Why would you want to be a Yakuza? The dirty supply chain behind Indonesian poison tofu. How real would you feel?
Tofu has been a staple food in Indonesia for hundreds of years. But in the country's second largest city, it has become toxic. Trash shipped in from the US, Europe, and Australia fuels the furnaces that cook the dish.
Are you... wait, what?
Under a microscope, microplastics are visible on all the surfaces the tofu touches. Indonesia has banned plastic imports, but the US still illegally ships about 5 million pounds of plastic here.
Wait. Am I hearing this right? Illegally.
In a single month. So why is Indonesia at the heart of the world's trash trade? And how is it poisoning the local food chain? There are about
This gets so strong, man.
60 factories churning out tofu here in Troporo village. Dakim has worked at many of them since he was 16. He lives at the factory, like many workers here, because he came from a village almost 200 miles away just for this work.
Oh, this game's gonna be hard.
Kadang seminggu, kadang lebih.
Udah
bertahun-tahun di tahu. Jadi udah terbiasa.
They start by washing soybeans, the base of tofu. Many factories get them straight from Argentina or the US for about 27 cents a pound. The imported variety is actually cheaper. The beans are also bigger and richer in protein. Workers soak them overnight to soften them up. And then grind them into a paste. These men get paid just over $2 a day. That was Takim's only job for 2 whole years. Becoming one of the cooks is a rite of passage. They get paid over $12 a day if they work fast. In this part of Indonesia, that's $1 above the minimum wage, which can be hard to come by here. Next, they pump the soybean paste into one of these concrete basins. These are heated by furnaces that use plastic trash as fuel.
Ayo, andai kata tidak ada plastik hidupnya seperti apa? Coba dibayangkan.
Muhammad Gufron, who runs this factory,
Isn't burning plastic like super toxic?
Baru lu gratis. Nggak beli lo, berhubung lama-lama. Sudah laku.
That plastic lasts him about a day, but it's still much cheaper than wood, which costs more than twice as much. And they would need a lot of it. Because this paste has to get really hot before it separates into pulp and this soybean water. Workers
I should not drive a car. That's water. But honestly, my vehicle should like break. Ah, terrible brakes. Welcome. Yeah, the brake is gonna whack. So it's gonna be fun. That's too hard. 나 PC가 안 놀랐어. No. Oh no, 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 no. Oh, no.
Drain the mixture into this cheesecloth and swirl it around to remove as much water as possible.
Nyaringnya itu kan panas.
Workers get covered in this liquid as it sprays everywhere.
Ya biasa kalau gatal-gatal gitu. Kenapa? Air kan dari pagi kerendam air terus.
Many develop a skin fungus that forms painful blisters.
Kalau butuh pasti kerja. Kebanyakan milih kerja. Kalau sakit pilih kerja.
Ya karena penghasilannya kan lebih tinggi. Ya paling beda 40%. Alhamdulillah cukup.
People who work here are also breathing in toxic fumes all day long.
We are going to measure the air pollution.
Daru Setiorini works for Ecoton, a local environmental group that tracks pollution in the area.
Standard is 150 microgram.
But this reads 1,500. That means there are 10 times more particles, like microplastics and other toxic chemicals,
Oh my.
than the safe limit set by the World Health Organization and by the Indonesian government. As part of Ecoton's
Jesus
research,
Christ.
Daru tests these surfaces too. She sets out a petri dish, usually for about 8 hours, to capture falling particles. This time, she left it here for just 30 minutes, and then took it back to the lab for testing.
Salah satu jenis mikroplastik yang itu fiber ya. Bentuknya ada juga film. Ini ada juga film jenis mikroplastik juga. Ini dia terlihat tertempel oleh patogen, virus maupun polutan yang ada di sekitarnya.
Those microplastics and
Jesus, weird, man. That's bad. That's pretty bad.
And the contaminants they attract all end up in this tofu.
So when people eat tofu, the microplastic will be bad impact to our hormone system, digestive system, and our reproductive system as well. It can cause infertility in the male.
Despite the risks, tofu production hasn't stopped. Once the men have strained the pulp, they add fermented coconut water to the leftover soybean liquid. Within minutes, the mixture congeals into curds. Workers scoop those out and transfer them to these molds.
Jauh sebelah kanan sini ya paling penting. Kan begini terus sih, Pak.
The men don't use any measuring tools. They have to eyeball how much they scoop in.
Nyetak gitu, waktu nyetak gitu kan. Namanya feeling orang kan bener. Ya kadang ketipisan gitu.
If it does, Dakim has to redo the batch. And he doesn't get paid for what he throws out. The tofu.
Hey, you don't. Lucky. Oi! Little bastard. Oh, there's way too. I can't pick this. This is shot. Dangerous cookie right there. That was me. Terrifying. What am I doing? Okay.
Tofu curds are pressed between layers of cheesecloth. Stacking the crates squeezes out excess water. Forming these solid blocks of tofu. Women take over for the next step. They use rusty grill grates to cut the chunks of tofu into even rectangles.
Okay. So we do have a real plane out. Oh, yeah. That feels great. Yeah. Two kills is 2 kills.
And then they package it. The Indonesian government hasn't managed to stop the practice of cooking tofu in toxic environments. The country banned burning plastic outside in 2008, but tofu factories do it in furnaces, so it's mostly out of sight. And it helps solve a huge national problem. Getting rid of trash that isn't even supposed to be here. A lot of the trash in Indonesia comes from places like Europe, Australia, and the United States, which started shipping its waste here in the early 2000s. Indonesia's lax environmental regulations and low labor costs made doing that cheaper. Western nations started exporting even more here in 2018 after China banned plastic waste imports, turning the country into one of the world's top dumping grounds. A lot of this plastic is single-use.
I think I know. Not fast enough. He's dead. Oh, that scared me, brother. Mind those planes.
And cannot be recycled even in countries with developed infrastructure.
This one, Uni Eropa. This is from Italy.
Even the kinds that are recyclable often don't get processed here.
Indonesia already have problems with our domestic waste. We have lack of capacity. They keep adding more burden to us. It's really irresponsible.
In 2019, the situation got so bad. Indonesia rejected 58 container ships carrying trash from the United States. But reportedly, only 12 made it back. Many of the rest were dumped in other developing countries. To stem the flow, Indonesia banned all plastic trash imports as of 2025. But they keep coming anyway. Sometimes importers bribe customs officers to get plastic in more easily, according to one report. Countries are still allowed to export other types of trash, like paper. But for every 3 million tons of waste labeled as paper, about 450,000 tons are actually plastic, according to Ecoton's reporting. In May 2025, months after the ban took effect, the U.S. illegally shipped about 5 million pounds of plastic in a single month. And these factories have become a way to get rid of it. This facility gets tofu and fries it up over stoves fueled by plastic tubes.
People already aware, yeah, that this job have high risk. They need to make living, and they see this plastic fuel is very effective, so people think it's good for them, but actually they become a victim.
50-year-old Suadia has worked at this factory nearly every day for almost half of her life. She says plastic makes her flames burn stronger. She cooks 5 batches a day to earn her $3 wage.
Kakak sudah meninggal. Dilakoni lah mbak. Nggak mampu, jadi ya sehari-harinya ya begini.
Snack wrappers are among the most dangerous kinds of plastic to burn because they contain dyes that can make fumes extra poisonous.
Di kampung itu, sing botol-botol itu, kadang kan bensin boten kanggung, ini wedi. Mungkin terbakan kadang enten uli,
I almost feel like we should play like 3 rounds with that. Oh my gosh, I just saw him detonate. This
I think those are really smart guys. Oh, just a hinge, you know. Nice target. Missed. One time. Can I even pen that? Ah, bad. Turbine. Luckily, the back of my turret has nothing. Man took too much body damage. What's this guy plan? It worked. That's a bait.
talk about appropriate force, and that was not appropriate
Zoo, I believe in you. You can do the math.
He can't do the math. He can't do the math.
10
The
shells.
math is hard.
30 seconds to reload them. 30 seconds to reload them. How long would it take me to fire all my shells?
Shut up! You put me on. You put me on the spot there.
Panicking, I know.
5 minutes.
I know.
You can figure it out. I'm leaving you.
3,000?
3,000?
Yes, 3,000 minutes.
Yes,
Thank you,
3,000 minutes. Thank you,
How you feel about our current predicament,
How you feel about our current predicament, Sue?
On a scale of 1 to 10,
On
where
a scale of
10
1
is
to 10,
absolutely
where
perfect
10
and
is
1 is
absolutely
you're
perfect
about
and
to
1
die,
is you're
negative
about to
5.
die,
There are
negative
so
5.
many targets
There are so many targets
that are right near the church.
right now.
So many T-34s
So
on the
many
point.
T-34s on the point.
Yeah, that makes me not feel great about this situation.
Not feel great about this situation.
Oh my god. This vehicle is like what? It should not be 5.7. Like, it never should be here. Like, it's like a 4.3 type of tank. Firepower, movement, no armor, one shot, mostly dead. It's like 4.3, man. Yo, I scouted that guy. I think I scouted a different guy. Yeah. That's the guy I scouted. And he's dead. Gotta be trolling. You gotta be trolling. Yeah, I need help. No, I can crash. Man, I'll play Arc Raiders. Man, this fucking world is so boring. Could play that game. What's this? A real tank? No player can. I know this tank is in a lot of tanks. I'm actually gonna go blind. No light. Freaking out, man, this game. Come on. How can you kill such a great game? Maybe I'm tall enough for this. That's a great question. Yeah, this vehicle should be in the same rank as that. That thing has a lot. Okay. I have a feeling I'm gonna be very dead. Wait, whoa. Huh? They updated this. That's new. I'll show you. That's good. Looks pretty fun and shit. Never look, phone and drive. I got an idea. Yeah, that was me. Yeah, bro, I'm so ass at this game, right? Oh, I can bring to the street. Intro 24, actually. Not 23. Then That was fun. Hold on. Hold on. Jeez. These machine guns are kind of golded. Oh fuck. Soviet bias. Man, I feel I had enough today. Oh well. Peace.